Welcome back to Talking Hip Hop. I'm your host, JustKeekz, and joining me on today's show is TC Spades. Let's go!
Just rub me the stacks. Right now, I'm stuck in the stool. Yeah. I call it the trap. But now I'm just chasing the cash. And they still be minding my biz. So now I just keep on the mask. I told you it is what it is. I'm up in the first class. The glass is sitting, they could be hitting. Whipping it out of the city, I dash. Getting the luggage, I'm grabbing the cash. Taking vacations, a family tradition. I'm painting these pictures, I'm making it last. Dipped in designer, but ladies desire. Her legs up and wider, I'm making a splash. Getting the mode that I'm ready to smash. No competition, that's stopping with me.
TC Spade is an emerging rapper and creator from Brampton, Ontario. TC's music has been recognized in a number of countries, and in 2019, he performed at South by Southwest. His music has gotten plays on hip hop radio station 93.5. TC has created a collective called Spades Studios that supports local brands and artists. Please welcome to the show, TC Spade.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out on my show. I just want to jump straight in because I didn't quite mention in the intro that you have a background in videography. Talk to me about how that led to you wanting to pursue a career in music. Like, what is it like to now be in front of the camera? Because I'm sure you're used to being like behind. So share a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So it all kind of started in high school. I've always been artistic. So I went to school for media, actually, just because that was the closest thing that fit what I was looking for. Originally, I used to be like a visual artist. So stumbled into photography and videography just because it was easier to tell stories with the pieces already there rather than having to create every single thing. And in that experience, I actually did get in front of the camera as much as I did be behind the camera. So I kind of learned both sides of things of how to conduct myself and how to create these stories. But as high school went on, and especially when I started getting into post-secondary, I just kept finding myself in just the music scene, to be honest. The first actual gig that I got to shoot was Battle of the Beatmaker. So for those who don't know, it's like a producer, like a rap battle, but for producers basically. And it actually the event produced some talent like Wonder Girl, Boy Wonder, and like other big Toronto acts, right?
Yeah.
So my friend Tony actually hooked it up so that we got to shoot that. So 2014, you like actually see me on stage in the footage, filming and stuff. And that was just kind of the catalyst. Like I knew from then that I wanted to be in the music industry. I wasn't quite sure like to what capacity at that point, but I was just like, as long as I'm in this environment, like it will never feel like work. And yeah, that's really where it developed. To be honest, I had the privilege to work with a lot of great talent, both locally and just around like Toronto in different levels of
Right.
success, I guess you could say. But yeah, they all exposed me to different levels of things to the point where I was like working with like artists signed to labels, and I was actually kind of like behind closed doors in certain situations where I'm like soaking up game and like learning these kind of things that like I don't know, I don't think I ever like I would have encountered otherwise, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, from that, like I got to, so basically I got to work with Roy Woods and other OVO sound artists, and K Force, Devin Tracy, Devonte a little bit. And yeah, those are just like people that either put me in situations or I just kind of met them in situations where like there was like so much going on, and it's just like music industry, right? So I got to really kind of learn how things work behind closed doors. And then yeah, once I transitioned into music, it kind of helped out where I was applying a lot of the knowledge, or like yeah, applying a lot of the knowledge. And also it's like I was there before, because mind you, when I was doing all the video work, I wasn't quite sure exactly what I wanted to do or where I wanted to be. And like yeah, like I've traveled because of like the work that I did. So I'm like, if I can do all of that without having like a clear cut goal, I know that now with my music, like, and I actually have my vision set and everything, I can easily get back there and apply a lot of the same like work ethic really to get back to that place and reach even higher goals as a result. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like with the creative agency, because as I said, I think they're all kind of connected, right? Music, video, all of that is definitely connected. Um, how did you like start that collective and like why is it very important to you?
Um, so the Spades Studio collective, it kind of came out just out of like that same experience, to be honest. As I was like in the transitional phase coming out of all the video and photo work, I still had people hitting me up either because they didn't know that I made the change, or well, yeah, most of that, like they just didn't know, or I'm just the only person that they trusted to kind of get that work that they were looking for. So my compromise was I was like, okay, I can easily use that opportunity because it's a unique opportunity where I'm being the artist, but I still have people looking for these certain kind of services, and just still being kind of active in my local community. Um, I know a lot of dope creatives, so I'm like, okay, why don't I just make a play go where I can plug in the people who I know actually have the skill to meet the needs of the people that are still asking, because the people who are typically asking are the ones who put me in certain situations that allowed me to grow and reach certain levels. So I'm like, why not, pass that on to these other people? And these are the same people that are just down to like work with me. So if I'm, you know what I mean, like I'm not just trying to get work out of them and not like give anything in return, obviously compensating them, but that experience and that actual opportunity is what I'm looking to plug in as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I got a lot of friends who do a lot of things, so I'm like, why not? Let's all just like do some cool shit.
Yeah, like on that topic, because I checked out your music videos before the interview while I was doing my research, and I think they're so like awesome and like really fun and like lighthearted. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I wanted to know if like do you kind of are you very hands-on with all your projects, or do you kind of just let the director take control and you kind of sit back? Because I'm, as I said, like I think that I can really tell that there's a lot of thought that goes behind like just in all of your music videos. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so definitely at the start, I was very hands-on in excuse me, in the video creation. Yeah, mostly because it was me coming up with the ideas. So definitely with my one song on the net, that was literally me trying to pull all these things together like last minute, and it was cool. Like I had people actually pull up and they helped pull it off. But I started to realize if I want to get like kind of a better quality out of what I'm doing, and this just goes with anything, like working with a team of like-minded people, is how you'll be able to achieve that. So definitely when it came to Bounce, especially, and even my business, like those were two videos where those are two of my good friends, both of them named Tony, but for Bounce, it's Tony Kojo. So he's just been my homie from high school. He's the one who actually plugged me into that Battle of the Beatmakers situation.
Mhm.
So he's always been a director. He's always had that kind of that vision. So yeah, with that one, I knew we were gonna get some sort of work in, like somewhere along the line. We actually tried to do something in high school, but this was just that serious moment where he's like, "Yo, like I really like this record. Like I'm gonna take my time to actually make a treatment." And yeah, he did that. He came back to me and we had some meetings, and just yeah, just really getting on the same page, and that open communication was what allowed it to get to where it was. But he's just someone I trust, right? So of course it was an easy process. And yeah, as far as from then on, my involvement with the videos kind of came as like assistant director, where it's really just like, okay, the vision checks out, cool, these things got to change based off whatever. And yeah, once it checks out, then I just like leave it up to the team to actually to pull it off. I'm more like a, I guess, a facilitator in the same way.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
so that was that one. And then my other homie, Toasty Tones, he's the one who did my business. That was just like another young homie that I came up with. So I was like, yo, we gotta get something in. Going forward, I guess that's kind of the happy medium for me. Just based off all that experience that I have and everything, I like to be like, involved in some sort of way, or at least so I know what's going on. But I'm always open to working with new teams and just having that kind of collaborative effort. Yeah.
I think it works too, because you already have a keen eye, because you know what it's like. So I think that's
Hmm.
it. Like it helps a lot, opposed to someone who might not know anything about film and is like, okay, can I do a music video? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I know the ones firsthand too, where people are asking for like some very like outlandish things, and it's like I don't think you know how
Yeah.
it works. So yeah, yeah, no, that definitely comes in handy.
Yeah. So let's. I want to talk about your EP that you recently dropped. Um,
Mhm.
Give our viewers like a, I guess like an elevator pitch on what they can expect from the EP 6 Degrees of Separation.
Yeah, so 6 degrees of separation. It's my second EP effort, but it's the first one where I really like I had to like hit the gas on things. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's a product of quarantine, but I feel like I really tapped into some emotions and just some vibes that you guys are really gonna like, especially if you're from the city. I got vibes that like if you're really listening to the lyrics and everything that I'm saying, like I'm saying some stuff that's pretty relevant to like the landscape that we live in. But otherwise it's just vibes. Like I really feel like I tapped into something that got some magic in it. So yeah, definitely tap in and check it out.
Yeah, what inspired that title? Because it's like 6 degrees of separation. I think that there's a meaning behind that. I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it part of it came from quarantine and part of it just came from like literally like my life. So 6 degrees of separation is actually a theory where it's like everybody is within 6 people of anybody. So when I actually learned about that theory, it was after I had done the work with Roy and like OVO and everything. And I was like, if I really break it down, like obviously Drake is the top dog in our city, and me out of all people, I'm like one person away from him. So like
Mhm.
that kind of goes back to my I've been in certain rooms, so I can definitely make it back. You know what I mean? Like it's not as hard as it looks. It's just that work. So yeah, that theory has just been very relevant throughout my life. So that's like where part of it came from. Also part of it came from quarantine in the sense where when it comes to the theory, like you're closer to people than you think, but quarantine we had to be, much farther and separated from people for health reasons. So just that idea of proximity and lack thereof is really what I was trying to tap into. Like that, that's what really kind of inspired me along the way with creating the tracks and arranging them really, because I was like, if I can kind of tap into this idea in these different ways and interpret it in these different ways, I feel like I can make something that makes sense when it comes together. And yeah, the title just came out and I was like, I kind of like this. Like it really fit. It's kind of punchy. It has that kind of weight to it, and I was like, it creates a relationship with all the different things that I'm touching on. So yeah, that's basically where it came from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm curious to know, like, what are your top 3 favorite artists or like people who really inspire your music?
Mm. Um, it's hard to pick like a top three, but for the sake of right now, obviously I'll do it
Yeah.
up. For me, it's honestly there's Drake, there's Lil Wayne, and I'll even say The Weekend. It shifts a little bit. Like my top 10, top five it fits in everybody, but
Mhm.
that's what the three I'll say for now. Mostly because they're artists who all have influence. First of all, like they're all like very influential people with some great careers that I'm trying to model mine after. And even just the way that they approach their artistry, like there's if you're looking at Drake just speaks about his life in a way where yes, it's like it's truthful because it's based in his experiences, but like I don't know, like I could tell you about my life, but it's there's just a way that he does it when he's telling you about it, where it's like, you know what I mean? Like you're invested in all these different things and these
Mhm.
relationships and whatnot. And when it comes to Lil Wayne, like he's just like a master wordsmith. So that's someone that I'm always taking notes from. And yeah, and then when it comes to the weekend, obviously another person being from the city who's just trailblazing, in the way that he just models everything and he carries himself and the way that he puts himself and presents himself to the world. Like that right there is like an artist, like in the
Mhm.
true sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are my top three.
I love how two of them are from Canada. Yes.
Have to be.
You
Come on, that's
I want to know, just like, do you feel like succeeding as an artist depends on who you know? Because you can be great at what you do, right? But if you don't know the right people, I feel like it can be kind of hard to get ahead. What are your
Mm.
thoughts on that?
So I agree to an extent. When it comes to the music industry in general, they always say that it's like 30% talent and 80% business. But what that really boils down to is like the relationships that you have in the business and your ability to conduct business and network with people. Um, is a it's a key skill to have, whether it's you or somebody on your team. So it's important definitely to get along in the career, but it's not like the end all be all, because as you can see, there's been many like talents that are just talented individuals that they're just like, hey, I'm gonna put this up on social media, or I'm gonna just do what I gotta do, and they just get the product or the music out there, and then the right people just happen to hear it. So those are like the few, the few situations where that can happen. But definitely, like, once you're on in that situation, it's the relationships from there that'll carry you forward into your career. But what I can say for just anybody who's trying to like hop in it, or you know what I mean, like fine tune what they're doing, having those like personable skills and being that person who you can do business with, right? That's what'll definitely help you.
Yes, that's a key. Um, what is maybe like a what is like a big milestone in your music career this far? Like a goal, something you've achieved. It could be absolutely anything that changed your life.
Mm. Um, I think so. I'm gonna give you a top three, but really it's gonna be two.
Okay.
The first one was the first performance that I ever did. That was at South by Southwest, as you mentioned.
Mhm.
Um, that was a huge hookup situation from my homie Tyler. He's the one who actually put on that show, and like it was. I mean, I went by a different name by then. It was
Yeah.
just TC. I should have TC Spades, but um, just that in general was really dope because like yeah, I had like just put out like a mixtape, and I'm still kind of transitioning out of what I was doing before, but being in a room where I'm being taken seriously as an artist, and like I'm among like people that I look up to, or you know what I mean, like that whole environment and that situation was really kind of a catalyst that kickstarted things where it's like, okay, like I'm here, so I gotta like hit the gas. Like I gotta really like go at this because you know what I mean. I'm here now. Like it's no
Yeah,
playing
no
around.
choice but to go in, you know?
Exactly. The second moment was definitely hearing my music played on Flow 935. Shout out to the Made in Toronto playlist and Ricochet. Like those are kind of the validating opportunities where it's like, yeah, just hearing my music on the radio in the city that I live in, but on the radio station that I listened to like since a child. I'm like that's like a full circle moment. Like it was really humbling. But again, just like more fuel where it's like, okay, like I'm really in this, so like I might as well take it as far as I can go. Like I'm trying to get across Canada now and everything, and just really make some noise all over. Um, yeah, and then the third one is I can't say just yet because
Yeah.
it's going to be announced next month,
All right.
but that is just a moment where again like humbling opportunities where people give you the chance and people take you on in a serious manner where it's like damn, like I always kind of had a feeling these were genuine people, but the fact that they're reaching out and offering these opportunities to collaborate and create something special is appreciated. So yeah, that third one, look out for it in March. But
Okay.
my three, yeah.
On that note, is there anything you'd like to plug or share to whoever's watching this interview?
Make sure you go check out 6 Degrees of Separation first and foremost. Got some big hits on there, so make sure you tap in with the kid. And yeah, just tap in with me at TC Spades on all social media platforms, tcspades.com, wherever you can find me. Stay tuned because 2021 is in a chokehold. I've got a couple plans from here to summer, and then even beyond that, I'm going crazy all year. So just make sure you tap in and follow the journey.
Absolutely. Make sure to check out TC Spades on all socials and keep up with his music. Definitely check out his EP. It's very fire. And I'm not just saying that. I like all of the songs. It's a vibe. So if you're looking for new music, check him out. I'm your host, JustKeekz, and thank you for tuning in. Until next time, keep talking hip hop. Peace.